What's up, everybody? It's welcome to the channel. I would do the normal intro, but this isn't really a normal video. I don't expect to get the same kind of viewers as I would normally get. It's a little story time for you today. As you can see on the title, I'm talking about when I left for basic training, which I left for basic training in 2017, so not too long ago, a little over a year and a half at the time of this recording. So, little disclaimer, I am in the National Guard, hence the hole. I got drill next weekend, so I gotta shave it all off. So, a little disclaimer. So when you're in the National Guard, you go to MEPS, and then you go to this thing called RSP and tell you it's your ship date. And so I went to MEPS. That would be a whole different story if you want that. But I wanted to make this one because a lot of people really get kind of nervous when they have their ship date. If you're active Army, you go to MEPS and then you ship the same day, I'm pretty sure. But for a National Guard, you go to, and then you just go to this RSP for a little while to kind of learn a little bit about what you're going to do in basic training. It's whatever. I kind of enjoyed it. I had a friend that joined with me around the same time, so I kind of had someone I knew that I was going through this process with. Also, a little disclaimer, MOS, 12 Charlie, engineers, lead the way. So, I left July 5th, 2017. I live 2 hours from my RSP station, so I woke up that morning, barely slept that last night, and I drove down to a place called Macon, Missouri, and met with my recruiter there, met with the people that was going to ship me off. And I'll be 100% honest with you guys, when I got out of that car, knowing that was probably the last time I was going to see my mom and my dad, for me, it was 16 weeks, so pretty much 4 months. This started with probably the longest day of my life. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, everything that you did, for me, a lot of it sucked. But in the end, looking back, I was never more proud of anything I've ever done. I started crying because I caught a glimpse of my father. He got kind of emotional and he started tearing up a little bit, and that got to me. That really hit me hard. So I cried a little bit. All right, so we finally get to Macon. I go in there, I do a bunch of paperwork stuff. I get these meal checks because I get to eat for free in the airport. After we get all my paperwork done, I'm driving up to a little airport in Kirksville, Missouri, where I fly over about an hour or so to St. Louis because I went to basic training at Fort Leonard Wood. And I flew to St. Louis on a small-ass airplane. It was like a 12-seater. I swear to God. I literally, my knees were on the opposite sides of the pilot. That's how narrow this thing was. It was also my first time ever flying. So, I don't know, like, it was kind of cool being that high up. I've never seen any of that. Kind of have a slight fear of height. So we flew into St. Louis, and I was super emotional. I was on my own. I've never been this alone ever in my life. I've always had someone with me. I never really did a lot of things on my own. I wasn't very independent, but so I was just walking around. I was super emotional. I kept crying. I kept tearing up. It kept hitting me. I'm like, I've never been so separated before. And eventually that would subside a little bit later. Kind of messed up in the head. I thought this was going to be the longest 4 months of my life. I had to count it down to the day. I'm pretty sure. I think it was like 107 days or something. So I went to the USO, which is when you ship, you go to this little place in the airport where you all go there and you sit there and you kind of wait. You kind of wait for a bus to leave to take you to Fort Leonard Wood or your next plane if you're flying out. Because when I went there, I met a guy. We were what were we doing? We were just sitting there. We were watching. I think we were watching a movie. We were watching Deadpool. That's what it was. And he was in the Air Force. He's talking about how he was going to Germany. And I'm like, here I am. He's going to Germany for quite some time. I'm pretty sure. I think for more training. I don't know. And here I am getting all emotional because I'm not going to see my mom for 4 months. That's just how it was for me. Some people take to it a lot easier because maybe if you're more independent growing up, this might not be that hard for you to go through this kind of it. But this was a big change for me. And so the bus finally comes in. It's a little bit later. I think I know I got to Fort Leonard Wood pretty late because it was dark. Met a couple guys on the bus that I would know for the whole time I was in basic. I sat by this guy named Salisbury. He's from Mississippi. He's a pretty cool guy. I think he was overseas this last year. So shout out to you, Salisbury, if you found this video. We sat by each other, talked a little bit about football. He fell asleep, and I just kind of sat there. I didn't really I wasn't relaxed enough to get any sleep, even though I've been up for quite a while that day. So we showed up at reception. It was kind of intimidating because the drill sergeant greets you, but for me, at the reception, the drill sergeants, they're just there to kind of scare you, to be honest with you. They don't do much. I think they try to intimidate. I don't even think they can yell at you. I'm pretty sure I don't know if that was a myth from what you'll learn about if you're shipping the private news network, PNN. You'll hear about that a lot from the drill sergeants. The first few days of reception are the only time you actually do anything. Like you get blood work done, which I almost passed out in because I was too that was like the first morning, I'm pretty sure, or second morning, and it was and that's the first time I ever had blood taken too. So I about passed out because I didn't have enough food in me. And so reception kind of sucks after that because all you do is pretty much eat and sleep, and then you're supposed to be cleaning all day, but yeah, everyone just sleeps all day. And then sometimes people just mess around in the barracks, and I'm pretty sure we played sock basketball where we had like 2 shoe boxes on either side of the barracks room, or they called them bays, and we played basketball, like no dribble basketball. It was pretty fun. We also did some like amateur wrestling where someone broke his nose and he had to reset it in the bathroom. So some interesting stuff happens. Don't get yourself in trouble. I kind of stayed and watched from a distance. I wasn't going to get involved. I didn't want to get hurt. Didn't want to get in trouble by any means at all. So after reception, after that, I think I was there for 8 days. Then your drill sergeants come all pick you up. This is the first time you get a taste of. This is also I think this is the worst the drill sergeants ever act around you. You'll be very scared of your drill sergeants for a little while. You'll be very. Way I learned at the end, they try to simulate a combat scenario with their shark attack thing, which there's people screaming in your face. You're told to run around. You're told to do all this and that. And for me, it was middle of July, so it was super hot. It was like July 13th when I showed up. July 13th or 14th, somewhere around there, when basic training started for me. It was a Friday, and it was just crazy. You just drill sergeants running around. It was super hot, so we had to like dunk into this water, and I'm like, holy shit, am I getting waterboarded right now? But no, it wasn't. It was all to keep us from passing out, which I think we had a couple of people actually did pass out from like heat exhaustion. Maybe they didn't have a lot of fluids in them, but it is what it is. One thing you got to learn about basic training: if you're committed, no matter what they throw at you, you're going to get through it. All right. I got through it. Everyone, only a few people actually legitimately dropped out, because so you'll see that people will quit. People will stop you. They'll say stuff to you that, and I'll be honest, people that quit at like week 2 or 3, they didn't leave until, because I did OSA, which is 1 station unit training. Sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit. So we were there for 14 weeks because we did our basic training, and then we went straight into our advanced individual training, AIT. So we had a little bit of a weekend break in between basic and AIT, and the people that dropped out at the beginning, they left. They didn't get to leave until like the end of basic. So they were stuck there. They were called holdovers, and they would do like a bunch of the best way to describe it to me is they do the bitch work around there. They do a bunch of little petty jobs around there, and they just kind of sit around all day, which sucks. That's for people that voluntarily quit. There's some holdovers that were injured and they were waiting for another basic training company to catch up to what they're already certified to do. There's gonna be a lot of things that they hit you with in basic training, and you're gonna be like, you're not gonna think you can do it. You're gonna think it's impossible. I guess the best way to describe it, Nike, just do it. Do everything you're told to do and do it all with 100% focus. You're not going to have any distractions because you're barely going to get your phone. I barely got my cell phone at all throughout the entire time I was there. I think I had 3 phone calls. Asked my mom and my girlfriend. They were not too pleased with that. But just remember, because everyone has focused on the same thing. Everyone wants to become an American soldier when they're there. And at the end, when you see your family on family day, and if you're active duty, it might be the last time you see your family for a while. For me, it was I saw them graduating, went home. Do everything your drill sergeants say. Everything you think you should do it. But don't do something that's going to cause attention to yourself and draw trouble, because drill sergeants love attention seekers. If you draw their attention, they're going to mess with you hard and make your life even harder than what it already is going to be. So, for me, I was one of the little more quiet ones. I had my little group of friends I hung out with. Well, not hung out, kind of like I stuck with when I could converse. First few weeks, you're not going to make any friends. Oh, you might, but most of the time you made those friends in reception. But you're going to develop some bonds that that are going to be pretty hard to break. Me and my people I met in basic training, we have a group chat. We don't talk a lot on it anymore, but for a while, like for a few months after we got out, we were talking all the time because we were all we had and we came pretty close. The one thing I can tell you about basic training is, for one, it's got to end. And if you get hurt, stay positive. I was lucky to the point where I didn't get hurt. I didn't have a lot of trouble with the PT test. Just keep doing it. You can do more than what you think you can. I never thought I could walk 20 kilometers with a rucksack on that was 50 to 60 pounds. I never thought I could do that, but I did it. And then once you do it, mentally, at the end of that, there was nothing I thought I couldn't do, which is awesome. So, if you're joining the military, stay positive. You'll get through it. It's going to suck a lot. It's going to be a lot of things that do suck. But just remember, everything has a purpose. It might not seem like it at its time, but once you're done and you look back and it finally clicks, wow, that's why they did this and this. The main drill sergeant, our like platoon sergeant type thing, he was an awesome drill sergeant. Drill Sergeant Coleman was one of the best guys I ever met in my life, regardless of military or personal. But your drill sergeants are chosen to be drill sergeants for a reason. They don't hate you. They want you out of there just as much as you want to get out of there. Enjoy it. There's nothing like basic training. It's going to suck, but you're also going to have experiences you've never experienced before. Thank you all for watching. Good luck for everyone going to basic training. I'm out.